All right, we're working on day 2, on part 2, day 2, on this Sensitive Knurling Tool. First thing I'm going to do is disassemble it again. This spacer piece, they call it a distance piece, in between is a full 5/8 right now. It has to, we're looking for a 5/10 dimension on it. So we're going to take it right over and do it and get it shaved down on the lathe. And then we're going to probably set up and cut both the relief cuts on the inside. And then other than the round edges and final fitting and that type of thing, why these the side plates will be done. You know, I say the side plates will be done. There'll be a lot to do on the tool holder itself, but we won't do that until final fit on everything. So we'll go ahead, go over to the mill and shave this down to 5/10, hopefully, and that should be a done deal. All right, well, we're just going to set it on one of our little shop-built parallels here, and we're going to grip it right in there someplace. Now, to get our dimensions off of this, we're going to do just a little old school. We're going to do the tobacco paper trick, and we're just going to touch off of our parallel to start with. Okay, that gives us our 0. And then if we come up to the top of this, since we've got 5/8, we should get 625 plus about 2/10. And we are right there. Okay, so we are going to take it down to 5/10. And there again, we could have cut this with a milling cutter, probably faster and easier. We've got stuff that big, but that's all right. Not in a big hurry. Go to high, leave it about there. Just run across here and see where we're at. Now I mic'd this piece and it mic'd right at 6245 or 6244. Let's go a little below that and see where we're cutting. All right, well, we're going to do a stupid check here. I'm not real happy with the finish. I probably should change out tooling, but what I am interested in, if I can slide this parallel out, and I may not be able to. Doesn't look like I can. I guess we'll have to get a depth gauge. I want to check that dimension. And what I will probably do is, at least what I'll try and do, is leave a couple of tenths and we'll finish that down by hand just to make sure we're straight and parallel. See what we can do here. We're looking at about a 5.407. Looks like we're about 5.408. Okay. What do we look like on the other side? Are we about? Yeah, we're within about a tenth. So I'm going to say we're good to go. Let's go ahead and pop it out of here and see what it's going to look like. Finish is not great on it. We'll have to take it over and deburr it. Got about 509.5 on that end. We got about 5.010 on that end. Let's take it over to the bench and deburr it and check it again and see what it actually looks like. All right, well, we've got our part shaved down. We're out by about half a thou from end to end. I'll polish that down when we get that far. But for right now, let's put it back together and see what it looks like. Now our screws are definitely too long. A little more play on that side. By the time we, by the time we level that out, those will be just fine. Just fine by the time we do the final hand fitting. And we were playing earlier, and that should slide right down in with a nice snug fit. So we're good there. And a little bit undersized on that one, so a ½ inch won't fit through it. Anyway, there's that part. Now we'll go back and shade the insides of these inner edges. See where that takes us. So let me disassemble it, get this laid out, and then we'll go from there. Well, I've been here for the last hour or so dinking around and didn't tape anything. The reason being, this spacer block, that 510 dimension, just over a ½ inch, I didn't feel was even close. Now I've also shortened up my bolts or my screws going through, so this is all mounted up here. So what I've done is I've put away the micrometer, and we've just done a hand fitting on all this stuff, and I've got it down to where in the fronts of these, why I can get a 4/1000 feeler gauge in. And that's about all the space I've got. But there was way excessive space in here. And this is what we've got now. That's how much movement we've got, top and bottom. And the reason being, this is way undersized. This ends up being about 493, 492 and a half. And it seems to be pretty consistent all the way. I don't know, that's not, that's about 488. What's this one? 490. 488. 487. Well, about 487. So that's what we ended up with. I'm pretty happy with the fit. Now, when we do the final fitting, after all the corners are radius and before we blew it up, why, then we'll double check this and we may take it down a little bit more. But we've got free movement in there, but that's a whole lot better than that sloppiness that we had before. And when I've assembled this, what I do is I just take a piece of drill rod, the 1/4" drill rod that's supplied. I use that as an index to make sure this hole's on. Then I go ahead and tighten my screws down. You know, when we get to final assembly, why, they'll be aligned by both the top and the bottom. But for now, I'm using that to help align it. So now I'm to the point where I'm going to go back and we'll lay out our cuts on the inside here. We'll go do that, and I'll probably call it a day after that. But I've done I actually took it to the belt sander and did a little bit there, and then I was just stoning it down, putting it back together and measuring gaps, so I was pretty consistent all the way around on all 4 corners. And it's pretty close. There's what our part ends up looking like. So that's the way it goes on there. And we better mark our top on here too, just so we've got it laid out as well. And this is out. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut out here and we're going to cut out here. And I'll have to go back to the prints and get the dimensions on that. It's 3/16 deep because these 2 shafts will slide, or these 2 pieces of bar will slide up and down in there. So that's where we're at. I'm going to go ahead and lay this out and I'll meet you back over at the mill. All right, well, let's see if we've got anything worth doing here. Okay, we're going to do another little stupid check. And recheck our zero on the top of this, because I want to make sure we're not taking too heavy a cut for this little machine and pulling that. And we are. Okay. Okay, we are tight. Yeah, I think the next cut will back that off just a little bit. I think we'll try that one right there. We're going for 3/16 deep, 1875. This way. Okay, we're going to leave that right there. So I think that'll be just fine. So let me clean this up, change over to the other one, and we'll come back in a minute here. Now we got the second one set up here. It didn't want to level out quite right. Evidently something's not quite square to the world there, but for this it's going to be just fine. Okay, there we are. We are going to say that we got that section of it done. So, take it over to the bench and we'll clean them up, deburr them a little bit, and see what they look like. So, here we are. And I think we are just about done for the day, because I think I've had about enough fun by the time I put this back together one more time and clean up my mess at the milling machine. Why, I think we'll have had enough fun. So anyway, here's our pieces. I see I've got, there's some surface rust on this part, which will be hidden away and reblued, so it'll be protected, so we're not going to worry about it too much. But anyway, there's that. This part will go on here, and these will go on here. Better go in, pup. A little windy outside today, and the big dog's had about enough fun. So put our little alignment pin in. That's the way it looks. Our pivots will mount in here like this. Just like that. These actually will set in here, be our pivots, and then this was for our adjustments on both sides. These are our jaws with our knurls that will sit out here. This will have our adjustment knob for tension, top and bottom. So yeah. So maybe we'll go get a little gratuitous shot over at the, setting up on the quick change tool post. All right, well, the way this is going to set on here is it will drop in place right there and lock in, and we'll have to figure out our adjustments, how we're going to set that up. But we'll get the rest of the tool post pretty well built first and decide what we need to cut away and where we need to set it. But that's the way it will lock on there.